Okay. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Public Utilities Commission for Thursday, January 9th, 2025. The time now is 3:34 p.m. Let's please begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any public input? I don't see anybody. No public? Any correspondence? No. Minutes. We have, I move that, actually, I'm going to start doing a little different. I would accept a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of December 12th, 2024.
Motion to approve. I wasn't here.
Oh, I'll second that motion. Now that is difficult. So now we don't have a quorum to vote on the minute. So I let's rescind the motion and I move that we table that to the next meeting. I have a second.
Second.
All in favor of tabling? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Catherine, just got to remember to do that next week or next month right here. Financial report. You have anything there?
All right. So at the end of halfway through the year, water department was in the surplus position at 241,000. Sewer's in a deficit. The reason sewer's in a deficit, we hadn't filled out the sewer assessments yet. They sent them out the 31st, so they've been billed out. Everything's going out. It's just not reflected in. Must not hit their numbers until January. So our big sewer problem not being able to bill out the assessments is done. Paula and her team got them out. So that'll be good because then more cash will start coming in too for that. One of the things I noticed, and I corrected it, just I'd already filed the financial report, is the hospitalization. It was really low. It was 40,000 halfway through the year when it should actually be 7 payments. It should be much higher than that. Between water and sewer, there's $100,000 that the general fund had paid on their behalf, but that's been fixed. We weren't coding. There's been a lot of turnover in water and sewer. So as some of the newer guys have come on, they weren't caught as being water and sewer employees. So, and we fixed it back in June, but then we never fixed it going forward for July. So updated all those charges. I did that transfer, and that'll be, you'll see it in January. It'll look like, oh, what happened? But it'll be more in line with where it should be. Other than that, the only outlier is we talked about some last month. I think it's on the water side. Is one account way over budget, but it's the account that has all like those water main breaks. Yeah, so water main maintenance budget is 40,000. We paid 123, 50,000 in the month of December alone. But we had talked about that at the last meeting, and Tom said there's more bills coming on it. There's a couple of breaks, but there's one really big one, right, Kelly?
Yeah, that was the one on Short Drive. Actually, you broke twice, and then
yeah. So like amongst all the accounts, that's the only one that's bad, but obviously it's real bad. It's $83,000 over budget. But we'll see how other things coming under and everything else. It's a repair. There's not really much we could have done about it. So that's pretty much all I got for you.
Okay. Any questions?
I have just a curiosity question. Why is hydrant maintenance and water main maintenance 2 separate categories?
Because when Tom started years ago, he wanted them separate so he can track them better. When Tom took over director, the utility operations budget, actually the water and sewer budget as a whole was like half the amount of counts. And then when Tom was looking at them deeper, he wanted a lot of stuff broken out, which was annoying for me because it created all these accounts. But then he can track better what's moving. And then when he starts looking at budgets, sometimes he moves stuff from meter maintenance to backflow maintenance. You know, like he likes to move them around a little bit. But it's also he can look at it without having to like pull all the bills to go, oh, that was that, that was that.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. So as far as you guys, you probably don't need that level of detail, but Tom wanted it.
No, it's fine.
Okay. So invoices, it looks like we have 3 invoices. The first is Bergstrom Wealth. I didn't see anything that looked odd to that. The second is Weston Sampson. Now that I did question because we had Weston Sampson. They have an invoice from Green Mountain for $17,337.50. Yet they're charging us $18,204. They're charging for Green Mountain, services, but they're charging almost $1,000 more dollars. I'm sure that's for cleaning up in Area 13.
If I may, that may have been, from the heavy cleaning. They come back to do heavy cleaning that.
Yes.
Charge. Dispose of.
It is. It says on the Green Mountain invoice,
Yes, it's-
which is payable to Weston Sampson, it's for heavy cleaning, $17,337. But then Weston Sampson billed us for $18,204.
It seems like it's almost exactly 5%.
Is that what happens? Is there just take a,
My first thought is, did they put an upcharge on it of 5%?
Mhm.
obviously?
There's nothing that says that you guys can't approve the lower amount and then,
Yeah, I mean, I don't have Tom or the contract here.
Yeah.
Like, do they have in their contract the normal 5% uppage? I mean, that's
Yeah.
pretty bold. An engineering firm. Put a 5%.
Marking up the thing.
Yeah, 5%. I mean, I don't know, but I don't know. Is that our contract?
I would entertain
So,
paying 17. Let's figure this out.
or what we could do a not to exceed motion, but leave it in Tom's hand to provide me the contract. If it does say that way we don't have to worry about it next month or,
yeah, they have to go back and clean up $1,000.
yeah, but we'll do that we'll put in our vote with the intention that we're authorizing me to go back with Tom and look at the contract. And if there isn't something there, we're going to pay him the lower amount. We'll come back. I mean, what do you think, Rick? You've done this a long time. I mean, do you normally just pay the lower amount and then fight it out next time?
Well, right here on the back page, this current invoice is 18,000. The current invoice is 17,000.
Yeah, that's what it says to me.
I think that
So it
would
looks
be
like a mistake
table.
then.
Yeah, so the
This
fact
is
that
the
it's
break-
exactly 5%, it's not a mistake.
But on the
Definitely
back of the Weston Sampson,
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, because they call it that one, that they said the current invoice, but they're just saying,
I think there's
they're
got to
talking
be.
about the current oh, it's on the back of the, but it's the way it printed.
Oh, I see. What
Should
you-
have
Oh,
marked
so
it.
so Weston Sampson.
It's because it's the back of the board.
Yeah, I'm with it. I'm getting now. Huh? I didn't get it. This is the back page of this.
Yes.
Yeah.
So there's no back page to the Green Mountain.
Yeah, so they're saying the current invoice is that, but that's not correct.
Well, but it's
Right.
Weston Sampson's current invoice is 18,204.38,
Yeah.
because that's what the bill does. Yeah, I would say you do not to exceed. I think you prove it as is for the conversations with Tom before we pay it.
Yeah.
To reach out to Weston, because you don't want to then, if it's legit and contractually they're obligated to it, in theory, you'd have to make them wait another month to get their $1,000.
Right.
So,
So we'll do these separately today, just for ease of use. So we'll start with the Kovacs Construction. I move that we approve the invoice in the amount of $206,824.50. For a second,
Second.
any discussion? With that, I'll try your minds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I make the motion that we approve an amount for the Weston Sampson invoice not to exceed $18,204.38, with the caveat that we are going to go and talk to the company before we pay to make sure we correct or have the correct invoice. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Without try minds, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And finally, we have the Wright Pierce invoice for the SCADA system. I move that we approve $2,084.55. For a second. Any further discussion? Without a prior minds, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And that motion carries. So we're done with invoices. We do have no new business. Do you have anything from the director, or are we just gonna pass on that today?
I do have a couple little.
Okay.
He just told me to let you know, under the director's report, the request to extend the water and sewer mains to 53 Taylor Avenue has been referred to P and Z for an 824 report. PUC can continue its review once the 824 report is received.
Outstanding.
And then the rest is under the capital.
Okay. Old business, NIU replacements. You gonna do that, Kelly?
Yeah, we've got a few of them done. They are gonna be reading, the 22nd, doing new reads, so we'll have an update list, and at that time, we'll send out, registered letters.
Okay.
Try to get,
How many we got left?
and we're probably down to about maybe 160 or so, 160, 150 somewhere.
So have we had more go recently? Because we were, I think, 150 before.
Yeah, it sounds like we're kind of stuck in
And
the
I
city.
think I expect more of this reading period too, because of the cold weather. They fail more in the cold weather. So, but we'll have more of an accurate report and then
Okay.
be certified letters.
Okay, yeah, at the, I know appointments are a problem, so I think at the next meeting, we kind of have to revisit that again, what we're doing to capture these. Okay, and PUC capital project status summary?
Bergstrom, pay level is at 72%. Work this month included an installation of piping systems for filters, backwash system, and recycle backwash system. Propane tanks and gas line installed, tested and inspected by the building official. Exterior doors, electric service and building grounding systems. Generator installed, various electrical enclosures ready for Eversource to install service following sign off by the building official.
Nice. I think we're operating, what, April, we thought?
Yeah, I think operational by April, and they're saying July.
Nice. And I'm assuming there's no PFAS class action update?
Yeah.
No. Okay. Utility supervisor's report.
I've got a few things. We're still having communication problems between the South Street Station and the Chestnut Ridge tank. We've got two new modems on order, or routers, whatever you want to call it. Supposed to correct the problem. They should have those within a couple of weeks. But there's no communication as to the levels of the tanks coming back to South Street. So we've been throughout the day just checking our levels to make sure our tanks are full.
Okay.
Also, Plum Trees, that spare pump that I spoke about last month, it's garbage. It's now
Oh, no.
putting money into it. That's one of the original pumps. So right now we've got two brand new pumps operating. They're operating fine. I think maybe look into either next fiscal year or the following one to get a spare pump. That's a little over 30,000. I think it's almost 32,000 for the, so we're going to just pull back the reins on that a little bit. As for Wall Street, the new pump that we ordered about 4 months ago has come in. It's going to go in next Wednesday. Should be all done in one day, not a problem. Kovacs is doing the installation. It's pretty involved getting it down into that pit, the bringing and what have you. All we got to do is shut things down, disconnect the power. They'll put it in place, and then we'll be powered up. Our new hires did start. He started on the 23rd. He's working out very well. Like I say, young, full of.
Yep. All that stuff you're gonna have.
We got a good faith.
Okay.
Next Tuesday, the well's gonna get redeveloped, the 1A well at Maple Avenue Wells. And everything prepared for that, so then we can put Chestnut and Eureka on it. The one day that they put the chemical in to revamp the wells, where we have to depend on our tank water and also our two plants to make. That should only be between 24 and 48 hours, and then we'll be able to put, because Because one A and one are so close together that we can't fire them together while we have the chemicals in the wells. So again, I think within 48 hours, we'll have that back up. As I said, the new pump is coming for Paul Street, and really nothing's going on. Everything's tight. The only complaint, I was thinking about it just now, was our yard hydrant down at PT Barnum. I guess it was making ice, so we had to shut that off. But that's the only issue we've had.
Okay.
We did have one house complain of no water, but again, it was just one of those things where you gotta wait for the house to warm up and they got their water back, but. Okay.
Kelly, I have a question for you about the pumping stations, the pumps in the pumping stations.
Yeah.
Is there any commonality between the different locations, the pumps that are in them?
Now,
Could they be?
because I think because of elevation, the head and what have you, there's only a couple of them that are close, and that would probably be Payne Road and Walnut. But they're not compatible. I've asked that same question, if we can't have a spare one that we can bounce between three stations.
Right.
And it's just because of the pump curve. Some of what the elevation is so much higher, and some of the stations are just so much bigger. Like Plum Trees is, with the exception of Paul Street, is probably our biggest station. And with the exception of Paul Street, it probably moves the most product. I wish they were, even if we had two stations that were identical, but it's got a lot to do with the head and the pump curve.
Well, what you can look at is it just impeller sizing? In other words, you could have a spare everything and just multiple impellers, and you could put the correct impeller in depending on the.
You know what, we could
location.
probably look into that, at this point now, because we're all all our stations are Homer pumps. Where when I first came 20 years ago, they were a mixture. It
Yeah.
was like whoever had the best deal in that particular year when they were building the station. We found some issues at Plum Trees this past year that we put a different impeller in there and we were able to boost it up. So I think some of them may be close, but even the horsepowers are different on some of the different stations, believe it or not. But it is something that we can look into, because I really like the idea of having a spare, because when they go down,
Absolutely.
they go down. And trying to get home to move faster when we're in an emergency situation is difficult.
Yeah, I mean, two spare pumps and 3 or 4 variable impellers.
Yeah.
To me would be the ideal situation.
But like I said, we are getting closer with the same brand,
Yes.
but we would really have to research it. I would go to Blake Equipment and find out if there's something that we could do like that, but they're not as close as you want them to be.
Yeah, just assign it to your boss.
Huh?
Yeah.
Well, he understands.
Brad, where do we stand? I mean, with capital to do a couple of pumps?
You might be able to, water, I'm gonna have to have the detail of it, because so much of the capital line is the Bergstrom.
Yep.
But I think some of the stuff he budgeted, might get pushed off. So there might be room. Like, I think he mentioned that at last meeting, that there's some of the capital stuff that's probably gonna get pushed off. That's why I wasn't so worried about the budget with the $80,000 overage in that one line.
Yeah.
But we can ask him.
How fast do these grow in price, Kelly? What have you seen?
So iffy.
You
I
don't know.
mean, you could see, a $5,000 change overnight. A lot of times they will call me and tell me.
Yeah. Our junk pump. Anybody want to sell it, or we can sell it to anybody?
Hey, let's go
It's
to the
jumped
scrap
up.
yards. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So what do we get? $500 for scrap?
Yeah.
Come on,
Could if we took it apart. Take the windings out of it.
put Chris DeLuca on it. He'll have that thing.
Oh, yeah.
He'll have that thing apart in 10 minutes and just move the $500 over to their fund. The guys do something with it. Okay. So maybe we'll consider that one. Tom Jerome will ask him. Any further questions for him? Okay. Is there any other business that we think should come before the commission? We haven't talked about, we didn't do business.
The only, because I just looked at what we paid out of the capital construction account for water. It's all Wright Pierce, Kovacs, and Bethel Police Department. So any other projects that he's had, we haven't paid anything on yet, but doesn't mean that he doesn't have something lined up.
Understood. Okay,
Brad, what was the police department?
It's when they need to hire police officers. they want to do it.
Okay, all right.
Utility department pays, they don't pay.
Yeah,
for the
no, all
cars,
right,
they
all
pay
right,
for
I
the
understand. I thought something was broken over there.
No. No, actual police officers.
Okay.
they might be broken. Okay,
Oh, well,
seeing nothing else to come forward to the commission, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
so
Okay, and we got, straight motion, second, all in favor, say aye. Aye. And motion carries. We stand adjourned at 3:55 PM.
Thank you all.
Kelly, thank you.
Brad. Thanks, Kelly.
Take that.